So, motherhood is one journey that you sign up and that's it. You just sign up and that's it. You're a mother and you're a mother for life. You hear people say, just do it, just do it. When people want to deceive you, they'll tell you, just, give birth early so that just birth all your kids so that you just rest. That's calm. Hi guys, my name is Mary Samuel Matthew and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. I am excited to be making this video. I've actually always wanted to share my pregnancy experience with you guys. By God's grace, I'm a mother of three lovely nations. Motherhood has been amazing. Let me use the right word. It has been bittersweet. There's a song that says, count your blessings, name them all one by one. Motherhood is one blessing that I'm so grateful for. From the time of conception to when I birthed them, to raising them as babies, newborns, and then toddlers, it has been one experience that I cannot, I don't even have words to describe the feeling. Sometimes you're all there, joyful, happy, they give you so much joy, and the next minute they're in your last nerve. So today I actually wanted to share my hyperemesis gravidum story because I can. Yeah. The privilege to be a mother, a biological mom, is something I'm quite grateful for. Privilege of birthing lives bringing lives into the world. Privilege of carrying destinies of people, of nations in my womb is one privilege I don't take for granted. There's one thing about motherhood. Many people say that, just give birth, just try, rush up, do all that you can, to birth all your children so that you can rest. My sister, na scam oh. You see, motherhood, once you sign up, you're in. Like, you sign up and that's it. You've already seen the title, My Hyperemesis Gravidum Story. And this is a story of God's faithfulness. This is the story of how God came true, literally came true. After I had my first baby, after I got married, I took in almost immediately. Yeah. Like, the first month, I was not even like mentally prepared for it, and we were already saying that, after my husband got married, got together, we were already planning that, okay, since I was still in school, that was going to be done at least a year. I still had 1 year to go, so I was going to be done at least. My people, that was it. Since that time till now. That was it. There was nothing like that. I took in, I think, a month. Immediately after I got married December. As of January, I was already pregnant. So that was the journey for me. And, it was a not so great experience initially. I know the first, first 3 months for me, being that I read widely, and I asked questions a lot. So I started experiencing morning sickness. I could literally eat anything except maybe crackers and water. I started vomiting. I was nauseous. I couldn't enter my kitchen, for a while. But it wasn't too long. I think before I was 2 months plus, before I got to 2 months plus, I started getting better. And the same thing happened for my second pregnancy. I think I started nursing fear for pregnancy after that first one. So I was like, okay, let's delay a little. And I was actually on a family planning. I was taking pills, yeah. The daily tablets you take, those daily pills, I was taking that So since it was the spacing was a temporary one, I wanted another baby. Actually, we wanted three babies when before we got married. Even though I was secretly praying in my heart that the third one would be a twins. So I I was taking the pills, and I think I skipped for 2 or 3 days, and then after every my husband was like, "Have you taken your pill today?" I'm just trying to rush up the whole thing, how it happened and everything. So he was like, "Have you taken your pill?" I was like, "Ah." So I rushed up for my mind. I have covered up. I have covered up the lapses. I didn't take it for 3 days. But God had other plans for me. That was how I took in for my second baby. And when she came when I was not prepared at all. I was serving. I served as a nursing mother, and I came back as a pregnant woman. Went for NYC as a pregnant woman, as a nursing mother. I had already birthed my first baby. So I went in as a nursing mother, and I came out. When I was passing out, I was like 6 or 7 months gone. So that was it for me. Thankfully, because I had thought when my second baby came, I had come to this point where I was like, I was not ready for this baby. I had a lot going on for me, and still trying to. I had a toddler. I think it was on his birthday, on his first birthday, that I discovered that I was pregnant. On my graduation day, or on my convocation, yeah, still the same thing. When I was convocating, that's when I discovered that, another one don't enter. So it got to a point where I actually wanted to go in for an abortion. I remember our doctor then, when we spoke to him, we talked. Thank God. God, really used him to help me to see things differently, because I think my husband was on my side, because he saw what I went through the first time. So he was like, if you're not ready, I'm not pushing it. So, but thankfully, God passed through that particular doctor friend of ours to help me, to give me change my mind. So thankfully, I did not. I did not take out my baby girl. Thankfully. So that was how my shine baby came. And then after that, we didn't discuss the topic of pregnancy again, because I saw hell, kind of saw hell. I saw hell. The morning sickness, it was just as the first one. I think it was even more serious than the first one, yes. Because I remember that my husband had to relocate me from the city where we were staying back to my mom and his mother. So I went back there to stay. And was I working? I think the little job I was doing then. Okay, no, I wasn't. I started training. I was actually training. I wanted to learn to sew. So I think I discontinued, because when I went there, my madam was vomiting everywhere. She said, "Kuku, don't come again until you're strong enough." So, and we already had plans to relocate to another city from that time. So my husband was like, when he leaves me to work with the baby, my son, and all of that. So he just said, "No, go and stay with my mother and your mom." My mom and my mother-in-law stay in the same city. So I went back, and that was how she came. And then I think for that was 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2022, for 5 years, we did not talk about pregnancy in our house. Because I still had that fear, you know, after everything that I went through, I still had serious fear. So I remember one of those times when we were just talking, like, it was not really a deep conversation, in passing. When people are just giving you that, what are people waiting for kind of look. My husband would tell me, when I tell my husband, I say, this, everybody just think, why are you not pregnant? And he told me that I should refer them to him. Anybody that is asking me that, what are we waiting for? I should tell him to come. I should tell them to come and ask him. Well, that was funny. That was That's how my husband is. So he was like, I don't want you to mount pressure on yourself when you are ready. When we are ready. When you are ready, I'm ready. That was it. So because as a person, I already told myself before I turn 30, I need to be done with childbearing and all of that. So I was getting to 30 and the fear did not go away. So we started praying that God, we wanted to try again. But we're like, God, let this be a different experience. So I started preparing. I think I had to resign where I was working because I was just like, I don't want to be explaining that I'm sick and all of that. So I just, left. I was just trying to kind of prepare my mind for it for the second. So when I conceived my third baby, I was not ready. I was not ready. 2 weeks gone, I was already vomiting. I was already very nauseous. I couldn't eat anything. Normally, when it happens like that, I don't enter my kitchen. Thankfully, I had a very wonderful help then. So she was there with my two children. At some point, I had to relocate them to my mom's place. And my mom would, help supervise what they were doing and all of that. Because I was on admission in the hospital. I was always in and out of the hospital. I was dehydrated. I couldn't keep down anything in my stomach, not even water. So I had to be given intravenous drips, to retain fluids so that I'll stay hydrated. I was so dehydrated that I would not even sweat. I would not pee. I can stay for days and I won't pee. It was that bad. I was a mess. I could barely stand. I was so sick. My pastor would say that somebody would come and give a testimony in church and say I was so sick until they called me sick. Like this was my experience. Sick people will see me and come and say, so there's something, and it was during the COVID area. So even going to the hospital was a very big risk I was taking. But we didn't have an option. My mom is a nurse, so she did all the home drips. When it was looking like I wanted to just give up, they'll just rush me to the hospital to put me on drips and all of that. I was so pale. I don't know. I'm going to look for some. I don't know if I still have those pictures. Sometimes for a while, I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror because I was so lean and pale. I could not walk. I could not walk unassisted. I remember many of the times when I get to the hospital, they'll bring a wheelchair or something to help me, move me from the car to my ward. So this kept on. In my mind, I was like, okay, it's just 3 months. Because normally the first pregnancy, I think that one was 2 months. At the third month, I started eating. At least I started taking in pap, custard. The second one was 3 months on the dot. At least 3 months on the dot. I felt better because that's always when I start easing up, feeling myself more. But this one, 3 months passed and I was still, it was getting worse. It was getting worse. We spent a lot. He needed to see me. He needed to see my husband then. We spent so much. It was too much for him because many of the times when we went to hospitals, they'll tell I was not going to be able to stay in the open ward where we had everybody because of the manner, like how it was doing with my body. Because when I stay in an open ward, I think I stayed in an open ward twice. One of the last hospital admissions I had, because we had spent all we had, private clinics and all of that, so I had to go to a general hospital. One of the issues I faced was that when people bring food for their loved ones in the hospital, it was how do they call it? It's not a Ghana word because most of those people had cases like maybe people that lost their babies and all of that. It's so women that had complications during giving delivery. So I was in that kind of ward. So, these people are recovering and all of that. They will bring food. Somebody will just open a food flask and I am vomiting out everything. At some point, the drugs that I was given to stop my nausea, I was not responding. In fact, the more I took the medicines, the more ill I became, the more nauseous I would become. So I think I discontinued after a while. One night, I just wanted to die. I don't know how it happened. I think my husband woke up and saw me crying. And then he held my hands and told me that, and asked me if I wanted to, go take the baby out. Because he was like, sorry, he was like, he didn't want to lose me. At least he was like, God has been gracious to us. We had our son, we had our daughter, and if birthing this baby was going to take my life, that he was not going to sign up for that. So he asked me to tell him sincerely if I wanted to take the baby out. And for a moment, for a second time in my life, the first time I thought of aborting was my second baby. That one was not even like the pregnancy experience. Like I was not even ready for pregnancy as at that time. So that was how I thought about it. But this one, it was glaring that I was even worried for the baby if the baby was growing. Many times when I think we did scans twice. I'll just ask them, the lady that used to conduct the scan, that, tell me the truth, is this baby growing well? They'll say, your baby is fine. And I was wondering how, because I was so sick and pale. I was not eating anything. I was not keeping anything down in my stomach. Like once I just put anything, I'll throw it out. Sometimes I would vomit and it would be as if I'm removing my intestines. So when he asked me that question, my mind went to a lot of things. I was like, I have come this far. I was not going to lose my baby. But I was so scared. Was I going to make it through? So that night, after my husband prayed for me, I went back to try to sleep. And I used to have, I'm a very prayerful person, but at that period in my life, I must confess I couldn't really pray. Thankfully, my mom was very supportive, and my husband, my mother-in-law. In fact, everybody just rallied around me. I had this very strong support system. My friend and a lot of people were just there. So I thought about it for a while. So that night, I told him to give me that night to think on it, and he prayed for me, and I slept. That was the first night in that pregnancy that I actually slept like a baby. I remember just sleeping, and then I saw this person walking in the dream and kind of hugged me and told me, don't worry, there's victory already. There's victory already. You're going to be fine.